there are some benchmarks and examples that you can look for. Also, we have seen such kind of scenarios in our colleges, in our workshops. So this is the inside of the workshops from one of the engineering college in Gujarat, and this is the outside of that workshop. So all these projects, all these academic projects are being thrown into this scrap after the students graduate out or change, they move on to the next semester. Why is it so? Why this scrap is there, right? Why this scrap is there? Again, there are many reasons why this scrap is there, but again, I would consider these three reasons very important. First of all, there is no structured methodologies followed to carry out this academic project. There is no structured methodology guidelines available to carry out, how to carry out the project, how to select the project, what to be done, how to be done, and so forth. Even not into our masters and PhD sometimes. And that is where many of the good work, good research work, good ideas are going to be thrown into the scrap. Many of the times, these methodologies or processes are so stringent that people are not allowed to think out of the box. And that's where this scrap is there. So, are we following any structured methodology? Our students have some certain guidelines how to select the project, where to select, how to do it, what are the tools and techniques to make it more innovative, and after coming out with the ideas what to be done, what kind of platforms or resources are available, right? So all we need to provide through our innovation ecosystem. Projects are done, academic projects are done only for good grade. We never fail our students into our projects or viva. Are you failing them? So exam is there, either they pass or either they fail. During my design engineering subject in GTU, Gujarat Technological University, I'll show you small case study on that also, how we develop the innovation and startup ecosystem. During my subject, we have failed in the first semester. When we introduced this subject, we have failed entire class of the institutes, and people are like amazed, people are like, you know frustrated कि कैसे हम लोग fail हो गए. How we can fail into the project, into the practical project, into the viva. कैसे हमको fail कर सकता है university, right? And we have failed entire class because they haven't done anything. So projects are only done for the good grade or mark, and that is where ready-made projects are being submitted. So are you evaluating the final outcome of the students, or are you evaluating the learning path? Are you evaluating the process? Here the process is very much important. We need to create innovators rather than innovations, right? If you are creating innovators, which means that if you are focusing on innovation processes to be developed, right, innovation will be automatically created at the end of the day. But we are more focused on innovations, which is the final outcome, and that is where the entire process of innovation is missing, and that's where this structured methodology is not there. Also, there is no financial, social, cultural aspect involved. Our students are not believing that if they come up with the good idea or good solution, they can make it financial model, they can use it for earning the money, revenue generation, and profiting, right? Or they can convert it into a patent, and they can transfer the technology. It is not there is no social and cultural aspect involved or considered, right? That if we are developing any solution, our society, our the community will be helping, will get help. And which is where research shows that 80% of academic projects are thrown into this scrap. If we convert 1% of these 80% academic projects across India, I'm not talking about only engineering project, all kind of projects. So lakhs of projects, millions of projects are being done every year. If we convert only 1% of that academic project into a startup, patent, or any kind of technology, any kind of marketable solution, you can imagine the amount of a good startup, good innovations which can be come out from our academia or academic institutions, right? But for that, we need to follow that structured methodology. We need to develop that innovation and startup ecosystem, and which is where we are here to develop and understand why it is required. Also, NEP 2020 focuses on innovation, creativity, problem solving, project based learning, 21st century skills, so and so forth. That is where we are also need to be considered, right, to create this kind of ecosystem. But innovation is not a eureka moment. Innovation is not miracle. It will not be overnight thing. You can't create your innovation ecosystem in 6 months or 1 year. It is longer process. It can't be done overnight, right? So it is a structured and thoughtful process. You need to develop your vision, mission, and roadmap for your institute, for your university, for your whatever ecosystem you are developing, right? Keeping all the contextual aspect, local aspect into the mind, stakeholder into the mind, and collaborating with them, right? So innovation is not a eureka moment. You can come up with creative idea in a flash of insight, flash of light, accidentally आपको कोई creative idea आ सकता है, but until you are not converting that creative idea into useful, impactful, marketable, commercial innovation, that creative idea doesn't have any value, right? So बहुत सारे लोगों को इतने सारे आइडियाज आते हैं, राइट, फिर भी हम उसको कन्वर्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं, या वी आर नॉट सीइंग द इनोवेशंस इनटू द मार्केट बिकॉज दे आर नॉट इम्प्लीमेंटिंग इट, दे आर नॉट यूजिंग दैट स्ट्रक्चर्ड thoughtful process to convert their creative idea into an innovation. So creative idea doesn't have value till it converted into the commercial, impactful, uh, useful, marketable solution, which we call innovation. So innovation is the final outcome, but we require that structured and thoughtful process, which we call as a design thinking. So we use design thinking as the structured and thoughtful process to come out with the innovation, to convert our creative idea into an innovation, and to develop the innovation ecosystem. So we'll talk about design thinking tomorrow in a detail. I'm just mentioning out over here. So this innovation ladder, now if our student needs to uh, you know uh, work under bigger companies, the giant companies, and innovative companies, if they want to be employed at innovative companies, this innovation ladder explains us that the companies which are considering design thinking innovation as their key strategic element, not as the styling appearance or just for the development of the process, develop as a development process, but the companies who are considering design and innovation as the key strategic element, they are at the top of the innovation ladder, they are at the top into the market, and which is where 81% of the companies says that we are open to design thinking mindset when it comes to the contextual strategy, corporate strategy, and 71% of the trained employees under design thinking says that it has improved their working culture, collaboration, co-creation, and iterative mindset when it comes to the development of the process, development of the solution. So the companies who are using design thinking and innovation as a key strategy, these are a couple of global companies, these are a couple of Indian companies. You can see and go and check the case studies for each of these companies on design thinking, how design thinking help them to come out from the bankruptcy conditions, or to come out from the, or to create the innovative ideas into the market, and how they become the innovation leader into the market, right? So all these companies case studies are available onto the internet. You can just go and check how they are using design thinking and innovation strategy as their corporate strategy, right? So which is where if our student wish to work under any of these company, and there are many, I'm just showing you some of the company, but there are many, and most of the companies and startups nowadays are using design and innovation as a key strategy, right? And which is where you can see on LinkedIn and other job portals that design thinking innovation strategies job profiles are now available, particularly design thinkers profile are available, right? And people are selecting such kind of candidates who are pursuing, or who have pursued, or who know about design thinking, who know about the innovation strategy, who know about who are having the entrepreneurial mindset, attitude, and skills, right? So which is where we need to develop such kind of innovation ecosystem to help our students to pursue the innovation and entrepreneurship into their career. Okay, now we always say that you can't manage what you don't measure, right? And which is where some of the innovation indicators, while you are creating the innovation ecosystem, you need to keep in mind that couple of innovation indicators needs to be there, and you need to measure that innovation process. Otherwise, after 1 year, 2 years of your effort, if you don't measure, right, you can't manage it, you can't change it, you can't improve it, and your your effort will be wasted. That is where the structured methodology, structured roadmap, structured processes needs to be integrated. So couple of dimensions, couple of indicators, like the entire innovation culture, the management strategy, organizational structure of your institute, the R&D input and other activities, competencies and knowledge creations, financial performance, stability, network. All these are indicators which we need to keep in mind while we are creating the innovation ecosystem. Also, we need to use these indicators to measure our progress, to measure our KPIs and goals and the objectives behind development of the innovation and startup ecosystem. So these are a couple of metrics that we use when we develop the innovation ecosystem, or we measure the innovations through couple of these metrics, like number of active projects, how many number of active projects your students are doing in innovation area, and how these projects, the number of active projects are being uh, converted into the marketable products or startup idea or patent or anything, research paper or something like that. Number of ideas submitted by the students, faculty member or other employees. Do you keep any measure on how many ideas are submitted by your students, faculty member or other employees? Impact on productivity and innovativeness through these activities, through these active projects, number of patents filed per year, creativity and empowerment activities and encouragement to to do such kind of activities, right? So are your institutes, or is your institute or management are encouraging you and your students to uh, you know organize such creativity and innovation activities, or they are allowing you to be a part of such kind of competitions? Annual R&D and innovation budget, do you have such annual R&D and innovation budget in your institute, right? Revenue generations or return on investment for earlier ideas. So what are the revenue generations through those ideas, how you measure that, how you put it into the practice, whether your faculty members are submitting idea or students are submitting idea and they pass out, can they be the part of this revenue generation return on investment policy? Do you have such policies or not, processes or not, right? Increase number of students per year due to this innovation and startup activity. So in your area there are like 10, 15 institutes, but your institutes are putting these innovation efforts or doing some such kind of activities, and which is where your institute is getting more and more number of students enrolled or admitted every year because of these activities. So are you measuring that, right? And it is one of the main uh, attractions for the students nowadays, that how your institute or any institute is providing innovation and startup ecosystem, and कैसे उनको benefit हो रहा है, क्योंकि see एआईसीटी बेस्ड करिकुलम या जो भी आपके यूनिवर्सिटी का करिकुलम है, वो तो सारे इंस्टीट्यूट में सेम पढ़ाया जाएगा, एवरीवन इज डूइंग इट इन अ बेटर वे और परफेक्ट वे, बट what are the different attractions for the students to get admission into your college? So this is one of the major or most important aspect that we have seen nowadays. Number of startups, patent, employment generated, revenue created by your projects or by your students and startups, right? So all these innovation measures and activities we need to, metrics we need to include in our processes and a roadmap to measure and to develop to measure the innovation progress, innovation ecosystem progress, and develop the further healthy innovation ecosystem. Now the role of the teacher is very important. Are you teaching your students, or you are facilitating the learning? Our role as a teacher, as a mentor, guide, is to facilitate that learning. If you just facilitate the learning, your role, your part is over, right? आपका काम हो चुका. And if you are just teaching through the books, your students will not learn it, your students will not, or your ecosystem will not create it, right? So that is where our role is to facilitate the learning, right? And which is where you need to develop, you need to come out with various innovative ideas, various innovative pedagogical activities and ideas to teach your students, right? For teaching learning activities. So when you ask your students to select the project, ask them not only just select the project from the branch and trending topic, right? Rather just ask them to look around themselves and select the problems, select the pain points of the people, and then try to develop the solution from your branch point of view. Don't select or don't ask them to come out with the project idea through the Google or just a repeated project. Build the competencies and multidisciplinary team. Try to build the multidisciplinary team, because multidisciplinary projects will have a better results, and they will learn so many other things from the different discipline. And in the real world, when they go out into the market, right, they will require such kind of multidisciplinary knowledge. Ask them to look for the problems around you and convert that problems into opportunity. We always, as an innovator and entrepreneur, we always look problems as an opportunity. During this pandemic, 90% of the world's population have seen this pandemic as a problematic situation, but there are 5 to 10% people whom we consider as an innovator, entrepreneur, from the corporate, from the business world, from the startup areas, and from the academia as well as government institutes, who have seen this problem as the opportunity to create a solution, and they came out with the many of the solutions, right? Vaccine is one of the innovative solutions during this pandemic that has emerged in a shorter time period. So we always need to develop that ability to look problems as a opportunity, and problems are all around us. There are many problems around us to be solved. Ask your students or develop the mindset that they don't aim for money at that student age, but they aim for learning, right? They aim for learn, unlearn, and relearn the things. So learning of the subject of any topic, then they unlearn by applying it into a practical scenario, and through application, through experimentation. If they fail, if they experiment, they will relearn that topic. So aim for learning, unlearning, and relearning. These are all very much important aspects, or things to be included. Yes, someone is asking something. Hello. Okay. Get your hands dirty and build the skills. Ask them to develop the skills, and work on the hands-on activities. Keep in mind societal community benefits while doing the academic projects, and ask them to convert their academic project into a startup idea, patent, or research paper. At least it should be some, there should be some goal to convert the academic projects out of 100. Maybe if you are doing 100 projects in your semester in the colleges, at least one or two projects needs to be converted into such kind of outcome. So either it can be converted into a startup venture, or patents, or research paper, or anything else, right? But it should have such kind of impact or outcome. So our role as a teacher, our role as a mentor or guide, is to facilitate their learning and keep these topics or keep these things into mind while we develop our own innovation ecosystem. Now ask your student to start early, working on their ideas, working on their projects, because college life is considered as an experimentation phase. If they fail, they will learn, right? If they fail after the graduation, they need to bear so many other cost, and they need to bear many of the face many of the other failures. So college life is considered as the experimentation phase. So create that experimentation and learning from failure kind of environment into your college. At the college life, during the student age, there is a minimum risk. They don't have any kind of responsibility on them, right? उनका शादी नहीं हुआ होता है, उनके बच्चे नहीं होते हैं, there is no loan on like car loan or home loan on to them, right? So ये सारे responsibility नहीं होते हैं. So there is a minimum risk. Even in the minimum risk into the developing any idea or experimenting onto that, right? After, if they after do it after graduation, right? More money and resources required compared to student life, and risk will be also more, right? So at student life, at college life, there is a minimum risk, less money and resources required compared to after, if they work afterwards. Immediate ROI, right? Why they need to start early is because that initial success boosts their confidence. And by solving a small problem through your innovation ecosystem experimentation platform, right? If they get some initial success, their confidence will boost and they will work on better ideas and more trying to solve more and more problem, right? Learning by doing, 21st century skill sets they could learn. Ask them to apply theoretical knowledge into practical scenario and explain them the importance of project in career, because you you may have 60 students graduating out from your branch, and these all 60 students are with the same certificate, with same plus or minus grades, CPA, GPA. Now if they go into the uh, interview, right, their project, their academic project will, which will be one of the differentiating factor, and which is where employer will be attracted towards your candidate. If they have done a great project, they have done a good project, right? Because the skills will be there, the skills will be there the skills will be developed into the students by doing some academic projects while working on the hands-on activities and project based learning. So importance of that project in their career is very much high. Now, why they need to become entrepreneurs, some of the reasons I'm just giving you, you all know about that. First of all, unemployment scenario into India as well as globally is rising day by day. Economic and technological growth, why they need to become entrepreneur right now is because the economic and technological growth is exponentially having we are having exponential growth into this economic and technological part, and which is where it is helping our students, our young minds to develop their own idea. Community and societal change, which requires the huge change into community and society. Government and ecosystem support, so all these grants, funding, tax benefit, ease of doing business, simple process of company registration, preferences are given by government in procurement from the startups. All these schemes and support system is available. Self satisfaction, of course, and government is supporting through various funds, right? So there are 10,000 funds of fund, cumulative funds is available. There is 1,000 crore seed funding has announced recently by the government, and already 50,000 plus startups being recognized by government and registered on the government DPIIT portal, Startup India portal. So these are a couple of reasons why our students need to become innovator and entrepreneur, right? If they become an entrepreneur, they don't need to just look for the job, but they can create the job, and startups are creating many of the jobs and employment opportunities for other fellow students. So these are the ecosystem support which is already available, and we can take benefits, we can take help and support from an entire ecosystem right now. And it is, the ecosystem is flourishing in a way that we are seeing unicorn startups nowadays. And in 2021 alone, 70 unicorn startups has been created by India. In 2021, every month one unicorn startup was created. Every month, 2 3 startups, unicorn startups was created. So the ecosystem has already been developed, and we have seen the fruits out of this in ecosystem. So now it's our call that how we should take the benefits out of this entire ecosystem, and how we develop our contextual and local ecosystem which will help our students, our institutes, and our community, right? And which is where we are hoping to develop uh, this kind of, or we are hoping to achieve this kind of dreams of India, right? By developing our own ecosystem, by developing our own innovation and startup ecosystem at the university. Okay, so let me brief you about a small case study at GTU that we have created, how we have created this ecosystem. And I'll show you some of the things so that it will help you and we can interact afterwards for this entire innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. So I have joined GTU in 2014 when we have started to develop this ecosystem in 2010 11. So I have joined GTU in 2014, and we have developed now the entire innovation and startup cell, full-fledged innovation and startup cell at GTU, having various you know AICT, MHRD, Niti Aayog funded schemes. So total we and our team fetch 35-40 crore of the support from the MHRD, Niti Aayog, and AICT to develop that entire ecosystem. So I'm going to talk about this implementation efforts of design engineering curriculum, which is based on design thinking mindset, and the establishment of Design Innovation Center, DIC of MHRD, which is 10 crore grant for developing this design innovation center. So this is the GTU Ahmedabad Chankheda campus. Now the bigger campus is coming nearby the Gandhinagar. The objective was to develop this design driven innovation ecosystem, is to have the skill development. So of course industry required 21st century industry required skill development, pedagogical innovation, because we wanted to develop various teaching learning methodologies, best practices across the world, for our students and faculty member. Of course, entrepreneurship, startup development, sustainable design solution, which is also very much important, and collaboration and co-creation uh, mindset and attitude among our stakeholders. So these are a couple of initial just objectives that we have thought while we have developed this ecosystem. Those then refined and iterated, keeping these objectives in mind, the entire ecosystem is iterated day by day. What structure we have created and started was developing the skilled based curriculum, which then in turn create the culture of innovation and creativity, and it was keeping design based learning at the center. So we have created the design based learning, practical based learning curriculum, which impart these 21st century skills and create the creativity and innovation culture among the students and faculty member. And our aim is to develop, or our aim is to transform thinkers, from thinkers to doers. So what happened is, mostly when we do academic project and when we ask students to do the academic project, they think about the solution, but they are not doing it, they are not implementing it. So we wanted to implement, or we wanted to transform them from thinkers to doers, and that is where this design based learning ecosystem or curriculum was developed. And for that we have collaborated with all kind of stakeholders into the Gujarat. Like university is one of the stakeholder. We haven't just pass on the curriculum, right? It was created based on the students and faculty members need, right? So students and faculty member are at the center of that curriculum when we developed it, right? Industry, we have considered industry skill sets and industry requirements, society and government requirements, and we have collaborated with society and governments to bring an industry to give us their problems, so that those problems are being solved by students and faculty members, right? So the entire collaboration of this stakeholders are required. Now, these are a couple of implementation stages. So we have take some policy level decisions where we introduce this design engineering subject from third semester onwards at every or for every branches, right? So it was compulsory 3 credit course introduced by the university in 130 engineering colleges. It was first introduced in engineering. Now it is being implemented. I mean, they are thinking to implement into management and pharmacy. But it was being implemented for 130, around 130 engineering colleges of GTU, because GTU is a state university affiliating kind of structure we have. So 130 engineering colleges, all the branches from third semester onwards, every semester they have a 3 credit course of design engineering. So that policy level decision to make it compulsory was taken, right? Development of various canvases and framework to help them to keep them on the same platform, same note. Then pilot based effort was done, and then we have created some FDPs and other workshops, and now we have created the online portal to manage and mentor the students project across the Gujarat. So these are a couple of implementation stages. Now, what was the challenges? The challenges was to educate 50,000 students per semester. So every semester we have 50,000, 60,000 students needs to be educated through this design engineering subject. There were no existing design department within GTU. There is a need to train faculty members. Around we have a 20,000 plus faculty members of these 130-degree engineering colleges. So we need to train all of them because faculty members were unaware of design thinking and innovation mindset, and there is no existing program for such a mass level to reference and benchmark. So we have created so many other aspects. We have created so many other programs and kept some of the policy level decisions while we have created this for the roadmap, and a very strong resistance from the students, from the faculty members, from the deans, from the principals, and from everyone to introduce a new subject. सब लोग बोल रहे थे कि हम डिजाइन तो करते ही हैं. Computer IT guys were saying that we are designing our softwares. Civil and mechanical are saying that we are using design, product design and other product design and development programs, और हम लोग भी design करते हैं. But this design engineering is completely different than engineering design, right? We call it a design engineering because we are integrating design thinking mindset with engineering aptitude or skills, right? So that we have created a blended subject, and we have implemented it through 3-4 phases. The first phase was sensitization and orientation towards design thinking mindset among the faculty members and students for revisiting their engineering temperament or developing their engineering temperament, problem solving skills and creativity skills, development of their 21st century skills through the various projects. Then we develop the capacity building programs by engaging local industries, government, and community. And we develop various hackathon program, ideathon programs, and other programs and competitions to develop the capacity, to build the capacity of our students and faculty members. And of course, third phase was to having these projects being converted into the startup and patents and other research work. So this was expected outcome which we have now getting out of it, all the projects. So 60 to 70% of these design engineering projects are now being converted into a startup idea, or at least into the prototype, so that we can see how and where we can take it forward into the startups and patent file, right? So and increase number of startups from the campus. So these are a couple of phases that we have implemented. These are very initial stages of faculty development program, where we invited faculty members, deans, principals, and some of the students to develop our own curriculum, right? So we have used design thinking to develop the design thinking curriculum. We have developed some of the canvases and frameworks particular to our context, Gujarat students context, and They are creating the projects based on these canvases. These all canvases and framework were developed to keep all the students and faculty member on the same platform, that at least bare minimum they are learning some of the aspect that university is expecting, right? All these things were created, and you can see the uh, prepared canvases and project work that by the students and faculty members. We have then developed the entire faculty development program, which was, I think, country's largest faculty development program. At the level one, we have developed the 5 level of the faculty development program, where if some faculty is graduating from that 5 level, which means that he or she can take the design thinking subject, design thinking course, or teach the curriculum to the students in a better manner. So level one training was done with the 55 workshops of 4 days happening till date, which where we developed or where we trained 4500 plus faculty members. Level 2 and 3 training, where we train more than 500 faculty members, and level 4 and 5 was proposed, but then pandemic happened, so we can't do it in a physical mode, but now we are doing it in an online mode. So all these are like faculty development programs where we have invited all the faculty members and trained them on 4 days design thinking and innovation strategy. We have invited some of the international and national speakers for design, innovation, and startup. So these are a couple of programs that you can see. I'm just going through the glimpse of the programs. Uh, this was international conference and national symposium to develop and refine our own curriculum. We have invited Mr. Mark Watson from Australia to to train the faculty members, and our theme was to solve heritage and smart cities issues, right? And we went to the various heritage places with the faculty members, and they are having the real practical based learning or experiences on the real field, asking and interviewing the people, real users and stakeholders, and experiencing the entire process by themselves. Couple of hackathon glimpse. So GTU has see, Smart India Hackathon now became the a brand, and Smart India Hackathon, GTU is hosting all the Smart India Hackathon since its beginning, and we are providing our students and faculty members the opportunity and platform to various hackathons and competitions like this. Right, it is only once in a year, but every month, every semester, we are having couple of programs and roundtables and symposiums and so many other activities where students are bringing their ideas, working in the teams, collaborating with each others, and come out from their fear of failures, and working in co-creation to develop their own ideas. So we are providing such kind of platforms and opportunities for students to enhance their creativity and innovation mindset. We have also collaborated with many of the world level groups and networks to develop this ecosystem and to flourish this ecosystem. MOUs to be signed with various institutes, universities from Malaysia, Canada, and of course with the Tata Technology and other institutes or corporates. Uh, we are also having we are also taking our students and faculty members to the industry to understand their problems, processes, and solve their problems using technology, right? So these are a couple of industrial Sodhyatra modules that we have created for the final year projects, where students and faculty members are going through 1 or 1.5 month of rigorous scouting part of the problems from the industry and community, and then they are doing their project. And then these are a couple of success stories from the newspaper. Sorry, it is in the Gujarati, but you can just see how students have created the products and services, and they came out with the patents, products, and marketable solutions. Now, at the end, I would like to just propose a couple of things to develop this healthy innovation and startup ecosystem. Because just talking about it, it will not help us. So I would rather give you some action based tips or things to be developed and to be considered, and then we can discuss on interact on this aspect. So we want to develop this entire innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem through design thinking approach, or we keep design thinking at the core of this entire ecosystem through various sensitization and capacity building programs, various courses level wise, building incubation and accelerator programs, and establishment of your entrepreneurship cell, design innovation and incubation center. It is not only the establishment but making it self-sustainable revenue generation model, right? So when you use this aspect, when you go through this level wise implementation, you can easily develop innovation entrepreneurship ecosystem. So roadmap or couple of objective to develop the innovation is we need to keep in mind. And as I mentioned, innovation happens when we focus more on innovators, which means that we focus more on innovation process rather than just the innovations, right? So we need to focus more on innovators and less on innovations, right? If we focus on innovation, which is final outcome, student will directly jump onto the solution. Student will directly jump onto the conclusion, and which is where the entire innovation process is missing, where we are developing the mindset, attitude, and skill. So it is not only one project that they are going to do or work for entire life, but if they learn proper in mindset, attitude, and skills during that project or during couple of projects, they will understand the process, they will understand the tools and technique for the innovation, and they will understand the innovation, entire innovation process, and which will help them to solve any kind of problem in their career. So we need to focus more on innovators, developing more on innovators rather than just innovations. Innovations are the final outcome. If our innovation process is right and correct, we will get the innovations at the end. So what aim we need to keep in mind, or objective we need to keep in mind while develop the roadmap? First of all, we need to develop the mindset, attitude, and skill as a problem solver and innovator. This is the first objective we should keep in mind. Stop copy pasting project and encourage multidisciplinary project. This ecosystem will help you stop copy pasting project, and the process is developed in a way that it will encourage multidisciplinary project and it will encourage original projects. Inculcate ideas to minds, market, and market to growth strategy, right, through academic project and then mentoring, to develop ecosystem and culture of creativity and innovation, and design thinking and entrepreneurship, right, will help in a both phase for job seekers as well as job creators, right? So if you want to become startup entrepreneur, or if you want to go into industry and work for any industry as an employee, it will help you in both ways, or it will help your students in both ways. So this entire roadmap, this entire ecosystem will help to achieve such kind of objectives, such kind of uh, you know uh, uh, goals, if you keep in that mind. So we develop this innovation ecosystem in a 3-4 phases, where innovation is not merely a word or event, it is ongoing process, as I already mentioned, right? So the first stage, first phase that we should develop, or that we should focus, is the development of innovation and pre-incubation system, where through various sensitization programs of students and faculty members and other stakeholders, you can develop this innovation and pre-incubation ecosystem, where you ask your students to bring or to come out with the ideas and develop those ideas at the proof of concept, at the rough prototype level. And we always seek the grant from state level or other other government uh, schemes, or institute can use their own fund initially to develop this ecosystem, which will which will be around 9 to 12 months of the effort to develop this innovation and pre-incubation ecosystem, where we are doing many of the sensitization programs and innovation programs, webinars and all, right? Then you develop the incubation and accelerator system. So after you develop the concept level ideas or develop the rough prototyping, then you need to convert that ideas into the startup. So the first level is for everyone. Then you screen some of the students and faculty members idea, then you give them the incubation and accelerator programs, which is after first year, again further 12 to 24 months time period it will take, right? Where you create the startups, patents, copyright, IPR support, give IPR support, where also pedagogical innovation, research paper, curriculum development is one of the aspect, right? So through various capacity building programs of students and startups, you develop the incubation and accelerator ecosystem. And the third phase is the development of your own design department or innovation center, entrepreneurship development cell, which needs to be revenue generated, self sustainable, right? You can't expect government to fund you every time, right? We can't expect it. So we need to become self sustainable and need to develop our own revenue generation model through various consulting project, fab labs, incubation centers, and supporting startups and consulting projects from the industry, right? So further 24 to 36 months will be required. So in an average 3 to 4 years, you will develop your entire healthy and healthy innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem, which needs to be self-sustainable, right? So these are the roadmap that normally we talk about and normally we uh, you know, propose to the universities or colleges, and then develop the roadmap further into the contextual manner. So your contexts are very different, your needs are very different, your students and faculty members needs are very different. So we develop this then contextual roadmap along with your management and faculty, right? And then innovation funnel would look like something like this, where you develop your vision, mission and roadmap with the help of the higher authorities and universities authority, right? Which is the input for this innovation funnel, right? Where you need to develop vision, mission and roadmap. It needs to be structured manner, right? Then the first phase will be idea. Already I have explained the first phase, idea to POC, where you do various sensitization programs, FDP and SDP, student development program, idea to MVP projects, hackathon, Sodhyatra, various other programs. Then second phase would be POC to MVP, right? Where you develop your uh, you know startup ideas through various capacity building programs, bootcamp, design clinic, startup fest, and other. And that third phase is a growth stage, revenue generation, right? Where startup creation and growth stage will be there, mentoring and IPR, startup schools, and different events can be done. And the outcome will be the healthy innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. So this is the innovation funnel that we need to create for our own uh, for our own roadmap or university and institute, and which is where, as I mentioned already, phase one sensitization, phase two capacity building programs and development of incubation accelerator system, and phase three will be establishment of design and innovation consulting arm, which needs to be revenue generation stage, revenue generation model and self-sustainable model, right? So these are a couple of courses we can consider, like to develop this innovation ecosystem, like design thinking, fundamental, intermediate, practitioner courses, creativity and innovation courses, entrepreneurship and startup courses or programs, startup incubation and accelerator programs, design thinking and tourism courses and methods or programs which will convert our academic projects into a patent, startup venture and research paper. Some of the emerging technologies, programs and courses we need to develop or we need to consider looking at our students you know uh, aspirations and interest, and then IPR and patent related programs and courses. So we need to develop some of the short term, long term courses, needs to keep some of the curriculum based courses which needs to be make compulsory for our students, and some of the courses can be just elective courses, but that needs to be implemented, and every student needs to go through such kind of mindset, attitude and skill development part, right, activities and courses. Otherwise, what will happen if we keep it very loose ended or very like elective based, then we cannot create the healthy ecosystem. So at some level you need to force something, and need to see that how many students are screened out of that, how many faculty members are much interested. Then based on that, on the second level, third level, you need to put more efforts onto them. But at least you need to develop some of the initial programs for all the students and faculty members, right? Then this I'll just go through a couple of things. So sensitization programs and workshop that you can create in the curriculum and in the roadmap. Capacity building programs you can create in the curriculums. Startup creation course and programs, this is just for the information. Creativity and innovation boot camps, this is we have created for school children and community kids, particularly 1 or 2 weeks program where small kids are learning design thinking, innovation and creativity aspects, entrepreneurial aspect, along with the technology integration, and they are creating very wonderful ideas. You can see they are working on various technology and hands-on activities during this 2 week boot camp, and they have created many of the wonderful ideas and presented to the experts. Idea to product program, which is a design thinking workshop series where you convert your academic project into a startup, into a particular product using this structured methodology. So we have created this entire workshop modules for the students for uh, converting their ideas into useful marketable solutions, and they are interacting with the experts, with the stakeholders, and trying to find out the problems and trying to develop the technological solutions. Startup due diligence program is our virtual mentoring series. I'll invite all of you to join us on second and fourth Saturday 4 to 5 p.m, where we are uh, building this virtual ecosystem of startups and innovators where we can help each other. Our aim is to learn, grow, and prosper together, where we developed, and these are a couple of objectives behind this startup due diligence program: to support the startup idea at very early stage, to check whether their idea is innovative and scalable, to select and to help them to select right business idea and market, financial and revenue model strategy, mentoring, and so on and so forth. And then other programs are like Ideathon, Hackathon, Sodhyatra, Design Demo Day, Clinic, Startup Fest, internship opportunity. All these needs to be created at certain point, certain time, so that students will be motivated and encouraged. And you also need to have the innovation day at your institute every year or every semester to display your students work, so that they will be motivated and get the expert advice whom you invite during this innovation day as a jury or as a judges, right? So they can get the expert advice or resources from those experts and convert that idea into a marketable solutions, right? And then winter summer innovation schools, startup schools, and webinar series. So all these programs and things needs to be created uh, for developing the healthy innovation and startup ecosystem. And at the end, I would say that what outcome we can expect from this entire ecosystem, right? So these are a couple of expectations from the institute or university. One is structured systematic approach to be created, right? So that you can imbibe design, innovation, and entrepreneurship mindset, skills, and culture among your stakeholders. Entrepreneurship in practice, you can create your own startup ideas, right? Practical hands-on approach for nurturing startups. Tangible outcomes like product service systems creation through design and development of those product and services. Entrepreneurship or enterprise and startup creation from your own campuses, right? Research paper, pedagogical innovations, and all these aspects. Innovation in educational curriculum, pedagogical reforms, best teaching learning practices. So your institute will be considered as a best teaching learning institute or innovative institute into the region. And one of the biggest outcomes should be recognition for institute as a leader in that region, right, as a most innovative, supportive and transformative organization, and more importantly, a student centered organization in the region. So these are some of the objectives or outcome we should keep in mind, or we should expect out of this ecosystem. These are a couple of things contextually we can change. So what is the right time to develop this kind of ecosystem? When you have a right team, right idea, right market, or right execution plan. But don't wait for it. Don't also motivate your students that don't wait for these things to be in place to start your startup idea. One final advice I would give is to just start. Just start, everything will be there. As I mentioned, the entire ecosystem is in development and is developed in a way that everything will be there if you just start, if you just put your one effort, right? You can see these Atal FDPs and AICT's FDPs are helping a lot to develop such kind of mindset and attitude among the faculty members, among the startup students and everyone, right? All the stakeholders. So we just need to start. We just need to put one effort, right? And with your only one small effort, it will flourish in a huge way, right? So just start, everything will be there, every kind of support will be there for you to develop the entire ecosystem. So thank you very much. I hope that it it was fruitful to all of you, and I could put some of the perspective to develop this innovation and startup ecosystem. So thank you everyone. Now we are open to question answers or interactions, if any.
Bihola sir, thank you so much for such a wonderful and informative session, sir. We have few questions. According, in your view, sir, what should be the minimum and maximum percentage of students to be compulsorily turned out as an entrepreneur after having a self-sustainable innovation ecosystem?
Okay, so there is no particular percentage, sir. I mean, it varies and it depends on many of the aspect. uh, First of all, uh, we have started our development of our innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem keeping 0.1% into our mind. So we started to train 1 lakh students every year, and 20,000 faculty members. And we so at GTU, normally every year 20,000 final year projects are being done academically in engineering. Now these 20,000 projects we expected to convert into a startups or patent or anything, right? Out of that 20,000, we just expected 0.1%. So I think and that should be our goal. That should be our aim. But at least you need to train your 100% students to get that 0.1%, right? We can't expect to train and select from beginning. Is needs to be sensitization, where every students, every faculty members will be the part of the ecosystem. They feel that they nurture their creativity, they nurture, they develop their mindset and attitude. And if they develop, they will go ahead, they will come out with their ideas, and they will ask you to give more, right? Or to expect more from you. But we can't say that कि हम कुछ स्टूडेंट्स के लिए या कुछ फैकल्टी के लिए ही करेंगे. And in the initial period we can't expect that 5%, 10%, 20% should be the conversion ratio, right? Even in the startup ecosystem across the world, right, there is only 1%, 2% success rate. 98, 95% startups are failed, right? But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't put our efforts into that area, or that in that way, right? So I think keeping less numbers of keeping less expectations from the efforts initial period is what we require. But at least we need to be sure that at the end of the day, let's say if after 2 years, 5 years, our expectation or our numbers will always increase, always rise, right? Because you are then putting your efforts into building the or what we can say, आप उसको फंडामेंटली उसको डेवलप कर रहे हैं. So building from the scratch. So I think let's keep expectation less at the initial time, initial period, but keep all the right context as a as I mentioned, some of the outcome, that if you build those outcomes, vision and mission at your level for the roadmap, you can put your efforts into that direction. And then initial first phase, sensitization of all the students, faculty member, then you screened out some of the students, develop their projects and startups using, with the help of mentors and experts from the industry and ecosystem, and then further take it forward into startups, or take it forward into development of the ventures company from your institutes, from your college, with the help of funding and investment. So I think that should be our goal. I hope, Krishnan sir, I answered
Yes,
your
yes,
question.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
Yeah,
have questions from few faculties also.
sure.
Yes, Professor Nitlan.
Sir, good morning, sir. This is
Yeah, good
Professor
morning.
Nithilan, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
I have a doubt. We as a faculty members put lots of effort on bringing up the innovative and startup mindset among students, but still we need, even though that we push or try to motivate the students, there is a lack of motivation and among the students or even among a few faculty members. So, in your point of view, what can be done so that we could pull a good number of students or faculty members towards startup or innovation regarding it? So what can be done to motivate the students and the faculty members?
Okay. So again, I'll give you the example of GTU's effort, where when we started this thing, right, we we asked them to just come out with their ideas, put their efforts into development of those ideas, and just submit their project as they are doing. We evaluate their ideas in a completely different manner. We are evaluating through the process, which was not there first, so that they understood that process is also very much important. They uh, after sometimes they came out of that fear of failure, that if we are even fail into our project, we are going to get the full mark because of our efforts, because we have done something, and faculty members and evaluators have seen our progress, have seen our efforts into developing something, right? And when we are putting our efforts into learning and developing something, and even if we fail at the end, we are going to get the full mark. So in our evaluation, the final outcome is only having 10 marks out of 100 marks. The other 90 marks are behind the efforts, how they have identified the idea, how they have I mean, how they have identified the problem, how they have talked to the people, how many times they have went onto the field, and how many interviews they have taken. All these aspects we are considering, or we are evaluating. So one thing is that they are not having that fear of failure, कि अगर वो लास्ट में रन नहीं हुआ. बहुत बार क्या होता है ना कि students have that fear that if at the end of the semester, or during the viva, if my project will not run, if my project will not work, right, my idea, whatever I have developed device, if it is not working, I will get the 0 mark, or I will be failed, or maybe the very less minimum mark. And that is where they are trying to develop best outcome, and they are missing the entire process. The one thing is that. Second is, we have created healthy competitions where we are inviting top 3 projects from every department, and we are making the competition out of that. All these 3 projects from each and every department, from each institutes, are being then evaluated through the experts committee in a various level, and we invite couple of hundreds projects to our final innovation demo day at the state level, at the university level. And out of that, top 5, top 10 ideas are being selected and converted into, I mean, given the incubation support, given the startup support. So all these things you need to gradually create. Again, it is iterative process. Whatever best work for us will not work for you or will not work for other people, and whatever best work for you will not work for other institute. So you need to develop your own methodologies, your own processes, your own systems which best work and motivate your students. There are many ways to motivate them. A couple of things, couple of steps or efforts that we have taken, I just mentioned. We also ask industry to work with our students. So students are working on various industrial problems or industrial projects, and we ask industry to help them, support them, fund them, even support them through the technology or through the industrial processes, and develop their solutions with the help of industry, so that students will be assured that even if we fail, this this effort, right, this learning will help them to get the industrial job, right, the employment. Or industry will also have that the benefit that if students are going to successful, they can hire the students, they can hire the they can develop that project along with the students. So there is a win-win situation among all the stakeholders we need to create. Even we are evaluating or we are appreciating their mentors effort. So फैकल्टी मेंबर्स एंड गाइड, जो भी गाइड करते हैं बच्चों के प्रोजेक्ट को, उनको भी हम अप्रिशिएट करते हैं. सो एवरी ईयर वी आर हैविंग इनोवेशन अवार्ड which we call Sankul Day Award, which we announce on 14th February. So world is celebrating Valentine Day. We are celebrating Innovation Day, right, with our Valentines. So our students and faculty members and startups are being called. So now on the 14th February, we will have the another Innovation Day. So the entries starts from September, October, and we took 2-3 months to screen all the ideas or screen all the efforts, and we have created certain processes and benchmark to screen those ideas. And we are inviting faculty members, we are inviting colleges who have put their extra efforts and do it, right. So at university level, if you are the university, you need to also do the same thing for your institutes, for individual institutes to be motivated, right. So all these are some of the motivational factors, and the biggest motivation is from your side, sir. So as an individual, you can be the biggest motivational factor, right, because even if a principal or their HOD has not supported our faculty members, many of our faculty members has put their extra effort to help their students. After the class is over on the day, like 4 or 5 p.m., they have sat with the students at the laboratories and workshops and working on their ideas till the late night, राइट. सो बहुत सारे फैकल्टीज ने ऐसे एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट देके या सैटरडे संडे में उनको उनके साथ प्रोजेक्ट्स करके, उनके साथ वहां पे इंडस्ट्री में या फील्ड पे जाके उनके साथ प्रॉब्लम्स आइडेंटिफाई किया है. सो ये एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट तो रखना पड़ेगा, एंड दैट comes naturally from individual. We can't force everyone to do it, but at least if we can develop such kind of environment and platform, and we appreciate, right. So not appreciation, not in terms of monetary benefit, but many of the appreciations can be done. So as we appreciate our faculty members with the awards and recognition at the university level, at the state level, right, that appreciation help them to motivate their students in turn, right. So all these kind of thing, I think Dr. Nithilan sir needs to be kept in mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have another question from Professor Ratish Kumar.
Sir, very good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thanks for the lecture. I am having a small question, sir. That is, you were saying about that only 20% of the projects are converted to a product or something else. And also you have highlighted about the NEP, that is the National Education Policy regarding project-based studies and all.
Yeah.
So once if it is implemented, what kind of outcome can be expected in connection to innovations in the academic institutions?
Okay, sir. So the biggest outcome will be the change in mindset, attitude, and skills of our young minds, of our young students. And it is already being done, right? When they are going out into their career, into the industry, or doing their own startup or venture, we are seeing that nowadays, students are not only directly jumping onto the solutions. They are not only providing the answers, but they are trying to find out the questions, or they are trying to find out the problems first, and then try to apply the solutions. So they are already using the structured methodologies of this innovation and entrepreneurship aspect. And of course, the startups that being converted, if you see, a couple of years back, only IITs and NITs are creating the startups, or better solutions out of their institutes. But nowadays, if we see, many of our common institutes and colleges are being created the startups, and they are developing the startups, and the products and services out of their campuses. And many of the newly this like unicorn founders or unicorn startups are not from IITs and NIT. They are from institutes like us, right? So all these, like Cred, Kunal Shah from Cred, this Ritesh Agarwal from OYO, Byju's, and all are from uh, institutes like us, and which is where it is required this NEP 2020 and the other schemes and government policies will develop our entire ecosystem and entire environment. It will create the environment so that various startups, pedagogical innovations, patents, trademarks, everything, research paper, everything will be as a outcome that we can see in the near future. Near future, the next decade will be the Indian decade, that what we are saying, or experts are saying across the world. So I think, Ratish sir, the expectation or the outcome would be the solutions, our own product and service development solutions of the products and services, or patents and other pedagogical innovation. For us as a faculty member, pedagogical innovation is also one of the important aspect, is one of the expected outcome from this thing. And the soft skills which our students and faculty member will learn will be the greatest assets or outcome as we expect.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, one final question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, alumni being a stakeholder of an institution, how can we utilize the help of an alumni to bring up the innovation
Great.
and startup in an institution?
Yeah. So great questions. Alumni, we believe that alumni should give back to university, to institutes, and to community and society, if they have got at a various level and at a various positions. So there are many alumni programs in various institutes. We have also alumni program where we invite alumni for various programs, various competitions, various initiatives, where they not only bring the funding, but they bring their expertise, they bring the problems and solutions of the industry or whatever area they are working. So all these alumni needs to be uh, you know connected back to our institute and to our students and faculty members. So जो भी alumni हैं, जो अच्छे पोजीशन पे हैं, अच्छी जगह पे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं, they are working on various technology and various problems, right? You need to invite them at various activities, right? Ask them to share their ideas, ask them to share their problems, ask them to share their experiences with the students, right? So during various workshops like this FDPs, you could invite the alumni to talk about innovations and entrepreneurship, maybe if they are working in that area. And they also bring CSRs and funding and investments for our startups. They also can develop along with, because many of the alumni had the dreams or had the ideas of various things in their mind, but they can't do it during their they couldn't do it during their graduation. So they come back and work with the students, work with the faculty members, and develop their own ideas. So we need to create the policies, we need to create the processes to invite, to inculcate, to integrate alumni, the entire alumni network back to our university and institute level. There are many programs can be done, sir. बहुत सारे programs हम कर सकते हैं उनके साथ.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Sir, this is Santana Krishnan. One last question. Sorry. Sir, we have few courses like literature, social work, catering science. Sir, what kind of structured methodology that can be followed in making those students to think about the innovation and entrepreneurship? Because
So
we have
you said literature and what?
literature, catering science and hotel management, and social work.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think all these courses, literature, social science, catering, hotel management, all these courses needs to be integrated through the innovation and startup or entrepreneurial mindset. Because see, now if you see the hotel management and catering services, they are facing many of the problems because of the competitions, because of the pandemic, because of many other issues, and the entire industry is growing so fast that they need to come out with various innovative ideas. So of course catering services, hotel management needs to be integrated through these innovation programs. The social science, of course, community and society, we believe that our students and faculty members or our academic institutes needs to give back, our alumni needs to give back to the society and community. So whatever projects your students are doing, all projects needs to be converted or I mean connected with this social science or community based problem, where they are identifying the problems of the society and community or around us, and bring or develop the technological solutions for them. So we use our technology and our knowledge to develop, to enhance the livelihood of our community and society. And of course literature, many of the so recently, if you know, uh, the Niti Aayog AIM is developing or has launched VIP program, which is a vernacular innovation program, where we believe that innovation is not should not be taught only in English. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि जो बंदा गांव में बैठा है वो इंग्लिश से ही इनोवेशन पढ़ पाएगा. What if he has great idea but he doesn't understand English, right? वो कन्नड़ा जानता है, मराठी जानता है, गुजराती जानता है, उसको वही भाषा समझ में आती है. तो क्या हम उसके आइडिया को या इनोवेटिव थॉट को आगे नहीं लेकर जाना चाहिए? Of course, and that's where 32 language, this innovation program, this entire design thinking program, the curriculum will be converted into 32 vernacular language with the help of various language experts and the teachers and faculty members of schools and institutes. So it is already have started. I am the mentor for that program. And so vernacular, the literature classes or literature courses also can be integrated through these innovation programs. I mean, innovation and design and innovation doesn't have any language, doesn't have any particular needs to have any particular structure. So it can be across the fields, it can be developed through various branches and various discipline, and it should be developed. Everyone needs to be, I mean, arts student hai, commerce students hai, medical hai, law students hai. We are implementing design thinking and innovation courses and modules for many of the arts, commerce, law students, architecture, even this as you mentioned, catering services or hotel management courses. So we are doing design thinking and innovation programs for them, because everyone needs to understand that mindset attitude, everyone needs to develop. And what we are doing while developing this innovation ecosystem, what we are developing is the process, what we are developing is the mindset, attitude, and skills. We are not developing the innovators, we are developing we are not developing the innovations, right? We are developing the innovators who will in turn develop the innovations, right now or afterwards. But that effort needs to be kept while we are developing this kind of ecosystem. So I think, Krishnan sir, it is great idea to integrate all these branches, all these things, multidisciplinary, kindly create the multidisciplinary teams when they are doing such kind of project. Let's say you said community connect program or something like that, right? So when you connect them, multidisciplinary people will be connected, they will bring various perspective to solve certain problems, right? So I think it is great idea to integrate all these efforts into all the branches, all these across the branches. Yeah,
Sir,
sir.
this is Balamayuranathan,
Yes, sir.
Faculty of English.
Go ahead,
Sir,
sir. Yeah.
you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, our students, English department students, they are eager, sir. They are very much eager to do something bringing out some innovative ideas. But since they learn literature or hear from us what they can learn means, they will learn how to analyze a literary piece of work, or how to create poems, or what are the literary techniques that they can use uh, when they do research work, or when they make any or create any literary works. So, how this can be connected with uh, uh, with this innovative ideas, or creating any or starting any new innovative ideas, or new things.
Yes. So
So, very briefly, what I want to ask means how startups can be produced or can be introduced by English department,
yeah,
especially literature students.
right. So sir, when we talk about any particular branch, if you keep that branch into mind and look at the problem or look at the situation, you will not have any innovative thought or idea or any starting point. But now forget about your branch. Just as a common person, just look any kind of problems around you, identify that particular problem, and now see how you can integrate your knowledge of your branch. Let's say, for example, you said literacy work, you English literature. I'm a mechanical engineer, and someone is from like hotel management or lawyer, right? If we come together and solving any problem, right, it will be completely a different innovative perspective that we can bring to solve that problem to our startup. Now the problem is, we always see the projects or we always see the startups from the solution perspective. We have certain things in our mind. Let's say, for example, I have to solve the problems of farmers. I am the expert. Me and my team is the expert in IoT technology, Internet of Things. Now, what we will do is we will develop the IoT based solution and take it to the farmer and ask them to use it. Now, how much desirable he or she will be to use my IoT based solution? Because I have developed as per my perspective, because I am the IoT expert. Now, he may or might not require the IoT based solution. He may even not require the physical device, IoT based device. He may require the process. He may require some certain services from us, right? Which not require the IoT, but which require something else. So what happened is, in a normal academic scenario or academic structure, that we always pursue our project or always do something keeping our knowledge or keeping the final outcome in our mind, that we need to unlearn ourselves, that we need to develop the capability, not looking at the solutions at first, but try to understand the problem, try to identify the problems, and try to understand the perspective of the users and stakeholder. So any of the problem that you find out, now let's see how well it can be solved through your English literature methodologies, or whatever you are doing. It may also possible that certain issues are there with your English literature or whatever branch we are there, right? So that certain issues we need to identify and need to see how well we can develop the solutions using our own knowledge. But first we need to identify the problems and then come up with the solutions, but we do it in the other way around, right? So that's where I think every branch people needs to understand this process or this correct way of solving the problem. I hope that Dr. Bala.
Yes, sir. I have got it. Yes, sir. I have got it, sir. In simple, what you are trying to say means every person will have some idea.
Of course,
The person should probe in deep about it, and he should see that how it can be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Try to start with the problems or the opportunity. There are many market opportunities. So how this language transformation, language translators softwares are available, right? Because there is a requirement. There was a problem that if I don't understand Telugu, if I can convert that English language into Telugu, it will be easy, or any other language, right? Let's say Japanese or Chinese. So how these translation softwares are available, right? So someone has faced this problem and converted their knowledge of language or literature methodology to come out with the solution. So first of all, we need to understand, identify the problems or maybe the market opportunity, and use our experiences, expertise, and knowledge to solve that problem.
Yes, sir. I got it, sir. Even in all our research projects, we will first see that what is the research problem. Like
True.
technically speaking, we say that hypothesis.
Hypothesis,
When
right.
we have this hypothesis, then we can
But
elaborate
that
it in our
hypothesis
research.
needs to be tested. For startup project, for real project, that hypothesis needs to be tested. So many of the times what we do is we have the hypothesis and we do not test that hypothesis. We assume so many things and then we develop the solution. That's where we fail many times, right? So that once you develop that hypothesis, you need to test your hypothesis. If you are doing startup, if it is research project, academic project, that's fine. But if you are doing some startup and if you want to solve it, I mean, through commercial aspect, you need to test that hypothesis with many of the stakeholders, user, and then come up with your solutions, innovative idea. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thanks for your
So any more questions, Dr. Krishnan sir?
Participants, if you have any questions, you can raise your questions.
Or you can maybe collect the questions and send it to me if there are any further questions afterwards also.
Sure,
Tomorrow also, I think we have one sessions on design thinking, so we can continue.
Sure, sir. We can do that, sir.
Maybe we may, if there are particular questions, we may have certain other meetings to discuss with a particular person. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure, sir. We have collected a lot of questions which can
Sure.
be collated down tomorrow, sir.
Sure. Please.
Sir, on behalf of IEDC, Coordinator Dr. D. Santanakrishnan, Dr. S. Ratish, IPR Cell Coordinator, and on the behalf of our Principal and Secretary, Dr. P.L. Shivkumar, and all the staff members, I thank you very much for giving such a wonderful presentation, sir. Your presentation was such an eye-opener. Your presentation was very creative and very innovative. Even anyone who is very new to this perspective, they can understand it very easily. So thank you very much, sir. I couldn't pull it into one small word of thanks, sir, because you've given such an amount of knowledge to us. You've been continuously talking for the past 1 or 2 hours and plus, but still you're so energetic and still ready to answer all our questions. So thank you very much, sir, and we are looking forward to get associated with you and even pick your brain to get help so that we could motivate our students and to the growth of our institutions, sir. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
Thank you everyone for thank you organizing team for inviting me, and I hope to connect with all of you to take it further, and I'll be always be ready and there for any kind of help and support is required. Thank you everyone. Bye, take care.
Thank you very much, sir. Take care. I request the participants to join for the afternoon session at 2:30 sharp. Thank you all.